No, I think I have to. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Jenny here. So today I have another story time for you. Now this story is how I walked out on my job. So if you want to hear how I walked out on my job, please keep watching. So this happened about 10 years ago. And before I worked in a salon, I used to work in a photography studio where I did makeup and hair for models and actors. I didn't do it on anybody big. They were upcoming models and actors who wanted to get into the industry. And I was there. I was like the makeup and hairstylist, and I aided in doing their headshots. And the photographer I was working with, let's call the photographer's name Mike. And we worked really well together. We worked for about 3 years before I walked out on him. And, you know, we developed this really good bond. I worked there full time for a very long time until I would decide to go to hair school. So I was working there Sundays and Tuesdays. I never left my makeup kit there. I was full-time, so I would leave it there, but when I became part-time to go to hair school, I always brought my makeup kit with me wherever I went. That particular day, I had brought home my makeup kit. Now, remember this when I say I also was driving a car that was all manual. Like, to open up your windows, you had to manually open up your windows, and to lock it, you had to lock it yourself from the inside. My car was really old, so it was broken. So if you wanted to get inside the car, you had to actually go through the passenger side and open the car from the outside because the lock on the driver's side wasn't working. So remember when I say all this, okay? I promise you it'll all come together. So anyways, one day was a Sunday, and it was a really long day. And I usually take the subway to work, but that day I was just so tired. And my days started at 9 a.m. and it goes all the way to 10 p.m. at night. So I didn't want to take the subway because it took me an hour and a half to get home if I took the subway. So I decided to take my car so I can just get home in like 30 minutes. Anyways, I brought my makeup kit. I put it into the back of the car, and I drove to work that day. And I got to work at about, I don't know, we'll say like 8:45. I usually like to be early because sometimes the models come early just because they're usually nervous, so they like to come a little bit earlier, which is fine. There was a parking lot that's outside the studio, and it's a paid parking lot. So I parked there, I paid for parking, and I guess I must have been really tired. I thought my kit was in the studio and not at the back of my car. So what I did was I locked the door from the inside, and then I shut the door. No big deal. Then I realized I forgot something in the car. So I went to the passenger side, I opened the car, I put my keys down, I grabbed what I needed, I locked the door, and I shut it, and I realized, oh crap. I locked my keys in the car, and do I look behind the car, like in the back seat, and I see that my makeup kit is there, and I'm thinking, oh crap, the mall's about to walk in like 10 minutes, and I have no way of getting my kit. Oh my god, and I get it, I totally effed up. Anyways, I go into the studio and I'm screaming my head off because I'm so flustered, and I'm like, Mike, I need your help. And he came out and he's like, what's wrong? And I said, I locked my kit in the car. And he's like, what do you mean you locked your kit in the car? And I was like, I messed up. I don't know how to get in the car, but my kit is inside the car, and I have nothing to work on the models with. My whole hair kit, my whole makeup kit, it's in the backseat of my car, and my keys are locked inside my car. I can't get in. And he's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? So he started freaking out, and my boyfriend at the time, he gave me a call and he's like, Jennie, call a tow truck. They can grab, like, they have a master key and they can get stuff out of your car. You're gonna have to pay for it, but if you need your kit like now, call a tow truck. And I was like, okay, fine. I said to Mike, I said, you know what? My boyfriend says to call a tow truck. And Mike was just so flustered that he was so flustered because the model had just walked in too. And he was also flustered because, like, what are you gonna say to this model? Because now every appointment is gonna be pushed back until things get moving, which clearly has come to a halt. He says to me, you know what, Jennie, come outside. And I'm like, but what about calling a tow truck? And he said, forget the tow truck. There's a fire department across the street and maybe they can get into your car. And I was like, okay, but they may, like, break my window. And he looked at me, he's like, who cares if they break your window? We need to get this done now. And I'm just like, okay. So we went across the street to the fire department. We knocked on the door and the firefighter opens the door and is like, listen, I understand your situation, but there is absolutely nothing that we can do to open your car. And no, we don't have to break your window. We do have the master key, but we can't do that because a lot of people did it around this area. We were opening cars that weren't theirs, even when people claimed it was theirs, and then we would get in a lot of trouble. So we have to follow rules. We can't open the car. The only way we can open the car is if you leave a baby in the car. And he asked me, he's like, is there a baby in the car? And I said, no, there's not a baby. It's okay, I'll call a tow truck. Mike turns around after the firefighter had shut the door on us. He turns around and he's like, you should have lied. Why the F didn't you lie? We could have gotten this kid. That kid is like our baby. Don't you understand? You effed up my whole schedule. Because of you, like, everything is just effed up. Of course, he didn't say the word F. He said, like, the real word, but I can't say it. So I'm like, I keep apologizing. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to do. Right? Like, let's just call a tow truck. So he's like, fine, come with me. We go back upstairs where the model is patiently waiting, and he comes in and he just loses it. Mike loses it in front, like, talking to the model, but it's about me, and he's like, I'm very sorry for the wait. I have a very irresponsible makeup artist and she locked her kit in the car and now we don't know what to do. Wow. Okay. Like, I can take a lot of stuff, but that I can't take. Like, everyone's got a certain threshold for, like, taking a lot of crap. That just pushed me beyond my threshold. So I said to him, you know what, can I talk to you outside, please? So, like, there was this, like, empty hallway to get into the studio, and he's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Get the effing kit out of the car. And I'm like, okay, well then I need to call a tow truck. May I please use your computer to find a tow truck number? And he said, fine. So I get on the phone, I call a tow truck, and they said that they can't be there for another hour. So now pretty much what that means is that every photo shoot will be delayed about an hour and a half. And he was like, you're so irresponsible. How could you do that? Oh my God, what are we gonna do for an hour? If we paid them extra money, well, I'm not gonna pay them, you're gonna pay them. If you paid them extra money, could you get your kit faster? And I couldn't believe it. I just lost it. And in my head, I just said, you know what? I didn't say anything because the model was there. And he clearly didn't want to talk to me out in the hallway, because in the hallway, I was about to quit. Like, I was just like, forget it. So in my head, I said to myself, when this tow truck guy comes, I'm gonna go in the car and I'm driving home and I'm never coming back. I am done. So the tow truck driver in like 20 minutes called me and said that he was in the area and he just needed to know which parking lot it was where the car was. And so I said to him, it's, you know, whatever this corner, I'll meet you there. I go downstairs, and right before I'm about to leave the building, Mike chases me and he's like, okay, sweetie, you know what? Like, get your kit and come inside and we'll just start working. And I flipped. I turned around, I got in his face, like really confrontational, and I was like, you call me sweetie after you humiliated me in front of the model, and on top of that, you made me feel like crap for forgetting my kit in the car. I've worked for you for 3 years. I make one mistake and you lose it. You lose everything. And he's like, oh sweetie, I'm sorry. And I said to him, I'm like, I'm gonna go. I'm going to get in my car and I'm never coming back. I quit. And he looked at me and he's like, what? Like, what do you mean you quit? And I said, I quit. I'm not coming back. Bye-bye. So what he did to get me to come back is that he gave me his phone. Okay, he put his cell phone in my hands and he's like, well, now you have to come back because you have to return my cell phone. And I'm like, buddy, I can walk away with your cell phone and never come back. Like, are you sure? Because right now my anger level is like up to here. And he said, nope, no sweetie, just come back. And I'm like, you like manipulative bastard. Like, don't give me your phone. So what I did was, well, he left. I had his phone in my hand. I met the tow truck driver. He opened the car door for me. I paid him. I got into my car. I drove to the front of the building and I had his cell phone in my hand and I went upstairs and I put his cell phone on the floor outside of his door. Yeah. Outside of his door, and I didn't even walk in, and I said, I'm never coming back. And so that's what happened. If you guys want to know what happened after that, to make a long story short, he tried to get me back. He did whatever he could. He filled up my Sunday and Tuesday schedule with like the higher paying customers, so I would get paid more. He did everything he could, and I just said no. I didn't talk to him. I think I sent him one email when he left a voicemail and he said, hey Jenny, just letting you know that you have a full schedule tomorrow. You know, let me know if you're coming in, otherwise I have to call another makeup artist. And I sent him an email and I just said, I quit. I told you I was gonna quit. I didn't like the way you talked to me. Bye-bye. And that is the story of how I walked out on my job. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe all down below, or you can catch me on all my social media, which is right here. That's at kiss.jennie. That's spelled kiss.jennie, Jennie with an IE. Or if you want to subscribe to my channel, click on my face here. Or if you want to catch me in my last video, click right here. I upload videos every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I will see you on my next video. Bye-bye.